What's up, guys? I'm Bainz. Today we're going to be messing around with the WesAudio NG2 EQ. Let's get right into it. The WesAudio NG2 EQ. It is completely analog EQ with tubes in there, but it has digital control. Not really a plugin, but a controller. Has a making moves here, corresponds over there, and vice versa. Can make moves here, so you don't actually need the plugin to actually use it, but it helps to, one, have a visual representation, and two, for recalls. Right off the bat, I've just got this instrumental in here that my boy Ajax produced and gave it to me. I'm gonna run with just the EQ on the mix bus, and then we'll get into using it on individual instruments. Bypass. This doesn't look like much. That's 5 dB. I'm gonna try really leaning into it, and you can see you can get a decent amount without, like, you know, sometimes with digital EQs, when you really push into them, that's when they start crapping out. Then another thing I really like is this THD, the harmonic distortion. All the way. And the cool thing is, now that I've done that, I can just go to another configuration and bypasses it. I mean, it completely gets rid of that. Try a bunch of different things, or, you know, use it a bunch of different places if you wanted to. You have multiple banks, just like, you know, it just keeps going on. Another cool thing is, right now it's running in stereo, but you can also run it in dual mono or MS as well. Dual mono, obviously, you know, if you want anything, if you have two mono things, or you want to treat the left and right slightly different, that's where you choose. MS, what that'll do is it'll split the mid and the sides, and, you know, it has applications in mastering, even in mixing, either clear up the center or, you know, widen the sides, or, like, you know, sometimes I might add or take away certain frequencies from the sides to make room for the vocals or instruments or whatever be in the center. Let's try to play around in MS over here. Alright, so let's get rid of it. Horns, trying to boost those. In that particular example, I put a shelf at about 100 on low frequencies just in the center. The hats right off the bat were slightly bright, so I lowered them in the center, but we're boosting kind of around there on the side, so it just kind of rebalances that. I think MS is a really cool tool to, like, dissect issues and get rid of problems, but also just add a little bit of width to things, or help with different, like, it's just a different approach to placing things in the mix. the total harmonic distortion, or THD. It's a really nice way to just add a little bit of saturation to whatever source you put it on. And can't stress enough, less is more with this. Unless you want a completely overdriven sound, then by all means go ahead. So that's with the THD blown all the way at 100%. You can tell it's distorting and blowing out. But back it off. Somewhere over there you find like a nice little sweet spot. Cool little way without doing any EQ to just get the sound of the box and a little bit of saturation. What number it's on just depends on the source material, but play around and find your sweet spot. Another really cool feature is they have these kernel transformers that you can engage and really drive into the unit and do some cool stuff. It's called the iron. That's where you turn on. That engages it, and we're just gonna drive into it. There you go. Start it. It's a cool little extra feature. I don't always use it, but it's cool to have there whenever, you know, you want to really lean into a sound. What I really like about this is it's a tube EQ, and you could be really broad with it and do, you know, overall tone shaping stuff. But you also have the ability to get surgical with it and, you know, make really small tight cues and just really tight boosts that you wouldn't normally be able to do, or you'd be able to do but not get as great of a result with a plugin. So I have another track over here also done by my boy Ajax, and this one's a little more 808 heavy. So let's see how we handle the low end. For me personally, when I'm working trap music in particular, anything that's really low end heavy, it's basically you got to figure out, is there a kick or is there an 808? Is it a, and then if they both exist, is the kick going to be dominant or is the 808 going to be dominant? And if not, how do you get impact? If it's just an 808, how do you get the punch that you would expect from a kick? The 808 is obviously going to give you the energy, but that little punch, that's by accentuating the transients or whatever little tricks we do in making space for it. I kind of like to start for the most part with the 808, then bring the kick in, and that kind of determines my foundation level, and then I build based on about that. Now, because this isn't a mix, these are just stems that came in right from the jump, I'm going to treat it as if it was just a mastering situation, handle it that way. So let's see how we can get some more out of this. Already like that low end. Let's try messing with some individual sounds in there, or the 808. Let's see what we would do on an 808. To me, like with an 808, the most important thing is gain staging. If it's too loud, there's not much you can do to it. And if it's too soft, it's not going to cut through. So you just got to find the right happy medium, make sure it's gain staged right, so it kind of knocks on its own at the right level without anything, and then see, is it missing some sub, is it missing some mid-range harmonic stuff, whatever you want to do. Let's jump in and see what's going on. Just showing you that because I wouldn't normally EQ on a digital EQ like that, but I just pushed it up to 12 dB and that sounds great. I would try to add that extra distortion digitally by, like, you know, a guitar parallel amp or something, but that's pretty cool. Not saying you have to use that, but you see, even when it breaks up, it kind of, it's sonically, you know, you could get away with that in a mix. It's sonically pleasing. Then let's play around with this. on that. That. I know that when I was playing around with the upper mids, that might seem like a strange thing to do in an 808. But what I was trying to show you is like when I boosted over here down below, I'm going to show you when I boosted this. See that sound that it makes when it's breaking up, that distortion, that's usually what I'm trying to find up there and boost anyway. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised when it happened on its own. Happy mistake, and it sounded really good. And then you can also just use the knob over here, which is great. So you don't really even have to have this open. You can not look at the screen, use your ears, which kind of you're doing when you're looking at the screen as well. But, you know, play around. So we've gone through a few different ways I use the 𝗃𝗵𝘁 and why I really like it. Really the most important thing, and I feel like it's been overlooked, is the fact that this has digital recall. I could close this session, open up another session, and keep working, and I don't have to have session recall sheets and templates and all of these different things that change. I also work remotely a lot. What I mean by that is I connect to my room from a different city. I might be in Miami, I might be in New York, I might be in Atlanta, but I'm still accessing this computer and all of the equipment in here. When I use WesAudio gear, I don't have to have an assistant in the room turning knobs for me as I'm monitoring over there. I can just use it like a plugin. What it sound like with the sound of analog that we all love. A lot of people ask, why would I spend so much money on just an equalizer? It's a lot more than just that. And some of the stuff with this EQ, you can't really do with a plugin, or you'd have to stack plug-in, unplug in, and plug in. Like grabbing a band over here and boosting it, the harmonics and the saturation you get with the tubes and just the overall sound of it, you're not going to be able to get it with just one plug-in or one EQ in the box. And just the usability, the accessibility, it is future-proof. You know, this is the sound of analog with digital control. This is the future. I love it. I hope you like it too.